Hey everyone, Camden here with the Ranking Ball preview show for February 27th, 2019. Let's go. Here are standings after last night's games. In the Eastern Conference, you still have the Bucks, Raptors, and the Pacers top three. And in the Western Conference, you have the Warriors, Nuggets, and Thunder in the top three. We only had three matches last night. We had the Knicks over the Magic, Raptors over the Celtics, and Nuggets over the Thunder. All home game teams won. Surprisingly, Knicks were able to beat the Magic at home, so maybe they're coming back. Raptors, just dominated the Celtics later in the game to make it 118-95. And the Nuggets and Thunder was pretty close towards the end of the fourth quarter, but there were a lot of foul problems and stuff with the Thunder that caused the Nuggets to win the game. Here are matches for tonight. We have the Rockets at Hornets, Wolves at Hawks, Wizards at Nets, Warriors at Heat, Bulls at Grizzlies, Blazers at Celtics, Pistons at Spurs, Pacers at Mavs, Clippers at Jazz, Bucks at Kings, and Pelicans at Lakers. That should be an interesting match, that final one late at night, because Anthony Davis is coming to LA. I wonder if LeBron and Anthony Davis will have a little private conversations after or before the match. On to the sports news. In the NBA, Marcus Smart says that the Celtics are just not together after a loss against the Raptors. Boston is 37-24 for the season and remains fifth in the East. They face the Blazers, who are fourth in the West, in a back-to-back tonight against Boston. So the Celtics did play against the Raptors last night, and they performed pretty terribly after the first quarter. And so they're having to go from Toronto and travel tonight back to Boston and play a pretty good Blazers team, and I don't expect the Celtics to kind of bounce back from the loss from last night. Kind of a scheduled loss for tonight's game against the Blazers. In the NFL, Randy Gregory is being suspended indefinitely. He is in violation of the NFL's substance abuse policy. Cowboys defensive end was suspended in 2017 for violating the same policy. So he's going to be he was put into this program. He had conditions for being let back into the NFL, and one of those being just not getting suspended again, not being caught using illegal substances, and so he's been caught doing that. In the MLB, the Colorado Rockies have agreed to sign an 8-year contract extension with the third baseman Nolan Arenado for $255 million. This is the largest per year salary of any position player in the MLB. The deal does include an opt-out after 3 years. His average was 2.97 last year. So it was down from the 2017 season, but the Colorado Rockies are banking on him to be able to push them into the playoffs and hopefully make a run in the postseason. If you weren't around, if you didn't get a chance to watch the Ranking Ball preview show yesterday, we had some pretty breaking news coming up. RBG will be listed on Coinbene.com starting March 18th, and the IEO initial exchange offering is going to be from March 4th to March 17th. Tonight's featured match is the Blazers versus the Celtics. I did go on saying earlier that this is a scheduled loss for the Celtics, but it's one of the more interesting games tonight. Speaking of playoff positions and how is it going to go into the playoffs, so this is the most interesting game that I found going on tonight out of the many games. So let's find out more about it. Here are your injuries. For the Blazers, Evan Turner is out for the game, and for the Celtics, Aaron Bynes is out, and Brad Wanamaker is a game time decision. Your previous game starters, you had the Blazers versus Cavs in a win, and the Celtics versus the Raptors last night, which was a loss. Your previous game starters, and going in tonight, we have the possible starters. It's going to look exactly the same, assuming it's going to be exactly the same as the previous game. All right, here's some stats going in here. Like I said, these are only stats that you can find on the Ranking Ball preview show going into tonight. Blazers and Celtics. I ranked this as from the highest FP average that players are getting. So the top players is Damian Lillard for the Blazers, and Kyrie Irving for the Celtics. They're the two superstars of the team. Everybody else has kind of pretty much average average fantasy points for the season. I think somebody who's going to be someone to look out for is Enes Kanter coming off the bench. I mean, the Knicks benched him because they wanted to keep his you know fantasy. They wanted to keep his trade offers pretty high because they didn't want him injured. And so Enes Kanter is a pretty good player. Expect him to score a lot more points. Last night, sorry, like the previous game, the CJ McCollum like kind of went off, and he's been scoring a lot of points. So expect CJ McCollum probably to maybe score some more points tonight. But on average, no one is over one uh, FP per 48 minutes in the match. So here's my winning 16 by fantasy points divided by 48. 48 being the number of minutes in a match. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to match players who are averaging the same fantasy points per through the game time. So that means every minute Damian Lillard is got 0.85 fantasy points on Ranking Ball. With this winning 16, I'm giving you my opinion of which 16 players to draft tonight into your Ranking Ball grid. My key takeaways, here's some advanced stats for you. I kind of organized it for the offense and the defense so you can see the best four for offense, best four for defense. So you can go into it, expect, kind of know what to expect from tonight's game. Even though that the Celtics have a little bit more wins, they are, if you notice in the last 5 games, Celtics are 2-3 and Blazers are 4-1. Blazers are kind of going hot. They're blazing, and the Celtics aren't doing too well, as we mentioned earlier. Past 5 games, look at the Blazers are scoring 121 points compared to the Celtics only averaging 107 points in the last 5 games. So the numbers there are pretty significant. That's why I say so. You're coming from a back-to-back tonight from a loss against the Raptors. Expect the Blazers to kind of dominate this game, but you should still see some points being moved around. Who knows like how much motivation the Celtics have going into tonight's game? But I expect an average performance, below average performance for the Celtics, and just the Blazers just to kind of come on in and just beat up on them. So put a little bit more effort into your focus more into Blazers players tonight, and put them in higher positions on your Ranking Ball scorecard. When you're thinking about positioning, make sure you put those Blazers players in appropriate places and more high position spots. This is how I made my lineup. Like I said, with my key line, I like to call my key line is this 2.5 line right here. I got CJ McCollum, Nurkic, Irving, and Lillard. So like I said focus a little bit more on these Portland players because they're going to be scoring a lot more points tonight against the Celtics. Kind of like, well, it seems it shouldn't be a broken Celtics team, but it looks like it. So that's what you're expecting. So I'm expecting this line to hit a lot, and of course I put a little bit more of even it out just a little bit on the other key line here with the other Boston players on that other 2.5 key line. You can find us all over social media like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Telegram, and a lot more places. So if you have more questions, leave them in the comments and we'll try to get to them. See you later.